Okay, everybody, we are here with another special edition of the Weekly Pulse. I have Kerri Spies live in the studio with us today, and she's going to share her story of the transformation program that she went through with me last fall. Kerri, would you like to introduce yourself to everybody listening?
Sure. Kerri Spies. I am a fifth grade teacher. I have 2 children. I have been working out for a very long time, but struggling with my eating and binge eating and mindset about food. And so I saw Tina's post about the mindset sessions and worked with you for about 2 sessions, 2 sets of 12.
Yeah.
But we tweaked it to our needs for me.
Yeah. So like last year, late September, you reached out really full of frustration around your nutrition, actually more of an obsession with the control on the food. On the flip side, though, there was the obsession with the control of it, and then there was the other part that was chaotic.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
we were either all in or all out. A lot of food noise, a lot of mindset around what you were doing, that was really good for you, but then really struggling with falling in and out of patterns. So I'm just going to say something that you wrote to me, and you might not even remember it, but you said, "I am sick and tired of fighting food and sugar. The binging and going all in and eating healthy only to fall back into binging is eating healthy and then falling back into binging is awful. I'm sick of losing weight and gaining it back." Mm-hmm. So can you tell us a little bit about your history with that all in and all out mindset, that obsession you had with your food?
Right. So I have worked with several trainers, and there was those cheat meals. I had never looked at food as cheat meals. And so I would be really, really good for 6 days of the week. And then on Sundays, it was a free-for-all. And when I say free-for-all, I'm talking, and those people who know me know this well, it was a brownie batter mix with peanut butter chips in it, or it was an entire package of raw cookie dough, to the point that I would almost literally make myself throw up. But it tasted so good, and I had removed those foods from my diet all week long. And so then when I got to Sundays, it was a free-for-all, and I would gain every pound back that I had taken off during the week. And it was a vicious cycle that has lasted many, many years.
So when you were falling into that pattern, when you would have that cheat meal on Sundays, did that last longer than just Sunday? Or were there times where that pattern might have continued longer?
When I was all in, so to speak, I could shut it off on Sunday evenings, but it got to the point where I could not shut it off, and it would go days and days and days. And I'd feel horrible, but it tasted good. It was an addiction. I literally felt like I was an addict. I could not turn it off. I would bake things and hide it from my family, or, run to Walmart and grab something and eat it on the way home so nobody would know I was eating it. It was a real struggle.
So on the flip side of that, you had times where you were all in.
Oh, yeah.
The all in mentality. So what, in comparison, like the cheats was chaos, out of control. Tell me about the control portion then when you were on.
So when I was on, I meal prepped every single meal. I would eat nothing that was not on my, quote, meal plan. Not prescribed necessarily by anybody, but I had meal plans from other coaches and people that I would use. And it was typically because there was an event coming up. And so I was all in, and when that event was passed, I was right back off the wagon again. And so if I had a carrot dangling in front of me to help me keep on track, that's what I did. And I was golden, and then I was not. And it just kept repeating.
How long would you say that you've been repeating that cycle?
Years.
Like 10 years, 15 years, 20 years?
15, at least 15.
So would you say you were trying to basically live off of motivation and willpower?
Yeah. I knew how to work out. I knew I'm a very committed person. And so when I committed hard and 100%. And then when I would fall off, it was, the same thing. I committed to that 100%. And I would eat until I felt horrible. Somebody would ask us to go out to eat. I would panic. Oh my God, where are we going to go eat? What's on the menu? I'd check the menu before I got there. And if I had one bad meal, say dinner was, quote, bad, which wasn't, like Tina said, you flattened one tire, so you went and you just finished flattening all the other tires. Is that what you did? And yeah, that one bad meal, quote, bad meal, it wasn't, I ate out with my friends, but I felt like I had cheated. And then therefore I was like, well, I've screwed it up. I might as well keep going. And that could last for days.
So, in that time of eating, were you including a lot of nutritious foods in there, or at least foods that you thought, like what kind, when you were following your meal plan, you were all in, were you eating fruits and vegetables?
Oh, no. People who know me know that I don't eat a lot of greens. I like apples and bananas, period. I even went and was hypnotized because I have huge texture issues. I eat very pediatric. So like strawberries and all those fruits and vegetables look good and smell good to me, but I have a very strong gag reflex. So the hypnosis did work. It did stick with some of the vegetables, but the fruits and things like that. So it's apples and bananas, green beans, sweet potatoes, broccoli, cauliflower, very minimal. And heck no, the first thing that would go I wouldn't even consider eating a
so
fruit.
you say you like apples and bananas, but you weren't eating those. But was there another reason why you weren't eating them?
Yeah, because that was bad. That had sugar in it. I'm like, what the heck? I look back now and I'm like, and now, I mean, even with all the wedding chaos going on, I made sure I got my apple and banana in every day. And now the apples take care of that sweet craving. And I never would have said that,
Yeah.
10 or 12
and a lot of
months
people
ago.
don't like every fruit and vegetable. So there's nothing wrong with it. You have a short list of things that you like, but the fact that you weren't including them
Right.
because they had too much sugar in them. But when you were having your cheat meal on Sunday, how much sugar was there?
Oh my God. I mean, I would eat a bag of Reese's peanut butter cups by myself, completely by myself.
No
and
bananas
hide it.
on Tuesday.
No bananas, no fruit. Yeah, it's to me it sounds stupid now that I was doing
Yeah,
that.
and you mentioned that it's kind of killing your sweet craving, and you're still, you're including fruits and vegetables. Now, how does that feel as part of your overall diet, even your health, just looking at it from the health standpoint and not about, I'm not saying diet like you're on a diet, but what you're eating right now, you're including those. Does your body feel better?
Yes, and I'm more satiated. My joints don't hurt. We went to Europe recently, and they have outlawed sweeteners. And so I didn't have any Splenda for 12 days. And I was like, surely not 12 days is going to make a difference. You would not believe how much better I felt not having Splenda and the fake sugars in our systems, Mike and I both. And so I came home and I immediately switched to honey or to sugar in the raw because I feel better. My fingers don't hurt. Sometimes in the mornings I'd get up and my fingers hurt. I don't have arthritis. It was swelling. My wedding ring fits comfortably now because the inflammation is gone. And in my head, it's the fake sugars for me personally.
Yeah, like that's just something you've investigated on your own, and you're like,
Yes.
I feel better when I'm not eating those things. And it's funny you mentioned your trip to Europe because I want to know what the old Kerri, and you can tell everybody her name if you want. What would old Kerri have done to prepare for this trip to Europe? Because you also had your daughter getting married just this past weekend.
Right.
So this kind of all snowballed together, and I want to know what old Kerri versus new Kerri would have done, what she did differently, what she would have done versus what you did this time.
Right. So old Kerri, or the Kerri that we were trying to kill, was stupid bitch. And because that's what I would say. You're so stupid. You're so stupid. This is killing you. So we have had a crazy summer. We went to Europe for 12 days for another friend's daughter's wedding. And then got home. 2 weeks later was the 4th of July. And then, which we always go to Lake at the Ozarks. And 2 weeks later was Jenna and Andrew's wedding. And in the past, I would have restricted and worked out to squash everything that I was going to eat when I got on vacation. It was horrible. It was a horrible feeling that it was this roller coaster of up and down. And so we went on vacation because with my therapy with you, it was food freedom was my whole goal. I want to be able to eat with my family and live life and not worry about my weight. I don't worry about my weight anymore. I want to be strong. I want to be healthy and fit and strong and be able to keep climbing 14ers and be able to lift my grandbabies and be able to do everything I do now. And we went to Europe, and number one, their portion sizes are normal sized. I ate pasta, fresh bread, croissants, and pizza every single day and came back 3 pounds lighter. It was all fresh food. You know, I mean, I ate. My husband even said, he goes, it is so nice to see you enjoying food and eating in a normal way. And he has always supported me, always. But when he said that, I was like, damn.
Now that you're home, you know, from the trip, the wedding is over, does it feel good not to have to say that I just restricted for this many weeks or this many months, and now I've lost control. I need to lose control because I wasn't allowing myself to have anything. How does that feel differently right now? Just sitting here today, like those things are behind you. You didn't have to do the crazy binge and restrict pattern to get ready for the trip. You went on the trip and probably ate things that you probably didn't even think you'd eat there.
No. I never thought I'd get up and have a croissant I did have my protein and coffee, but to eat those things every single day, I will tell you by the end, though, we were ready for meat because meat is fish over there and we're not big fish eaters. And I never thought I'd say I'm really kind of sick of pasta, but it was very enjoyable. But yeah, I mean, I came back and continued eating. I had my fruits and my vegetables, had my little sweet here and there, and I have not felt restricted. And that is huge, absolutely huge, because we've had bridal showers and we had a fish fry. I mean, it's nonstop events, which is life, right? I mean, yeah. And I have not once felt like I was restricting myself. Watching what I eat, yes. Making good choices, yes. But not I can't have that. That's a bad food, because that's what it's always been. Good food, bad food.
So how do you view food now? If you're not looking at it as good or bad, what is your system for, determining what you're eating and what you're not eating?
Will this food help me stay strong? Will this food make me feel good? Will this food help me with my lifts?
Will I enjoy this food?
Yeah. And will I enjoy it? And can I go to the bathroom when I eat this food? I mean, when you eat that much sugar, and people, my friends who know me, I mean, they know, like, you know how you get a 9x13 pan of whatever sweets and you just take a sliver and then you're all of a sudden it's gone and you're like, damn, who ate all that? Well, guess who ate all of it? Me.
Who came in here and ate all this food?
And I felt horrible in so many ways.
So you mentioned that Mike, was really happy with how you'd been enjoying food. So what had Mike seen you do in the past that would make him even suggest that? Like, you're on a trip together. Why would you be doing anything different?
Well, I did not know this, but he told me, he's like, when you'd have your food scale out and you would measure out green beans, I would watch you take a green bean out, because that green bean was 1 gram over what you were supposed to eat. A green bean. He's like, that's concerning. I never knew he was watching me. So what have I done to my kids? And when he said that to me, I was like, yeah, I can eat these things and it's not going to kill my progress or, whatever I'm working on right now. Because we'd go out to restaurants. Is there something here you can eat? And I'm like, oh.
That was from Mike or from your kids?
From Mike. Yeah. Yeah. Can you find something here that you can eat? Not being mean, not ever being facetious. I mean, he was like my number one cheerleader, but it was his way of supporting me. But at the time I was like, I didn't think of it as a bad thing, but now I look back and I'm like, that was horrible.
So would you have packed food for other events, parties,
absolutely.
Christmas, birthday parties, New Year's Eve parties, weekends away with friends?
Yep, I did. I always made sure I had a protein powder or a protein bar. And there were times when I would go to family events and I would pack my little, Tupperware full of my good food and sit and watch everybody else eat and feel like, I was left out, which was my choice. I was the one who chose those.
Yeah. And then to turn around and then you'd have that binge cycle.
Yep. Yeah. Because I'd missed out on what everybody else ate. So then I felt sorry for myself. So then I would go home and find my stash.
Do you still have days where you want to enjoy something a little more than...
Oh, yeah. It's always a battle. And I tell people that, it's hard to make good choices for anything, right? But when you like to eat and you like sugar, you have to hold yourself accountable. So anymore, I have a serving. Because I told you before, it wasn't a serving size I would eat. I would eat everybody's serving size. So now I'm like, you can have that. The Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Thins are huge for me because I know I can have 3 of those. That's 1 serving. I'm satisfied, and I can have 3 more tomorrow. Isn't that amazing?
You mean you don't have to eat the whole bag today?
No, not today.
And even the fact that you're having them too, because a lot of times when somebody starts something new, we talk about this all the time. We start a diet, we're going to get healthy. We're going to get in the best shape of our lives. I'm cutting everything out I enjoy.
Yep.
Like I have no joy in my eating. This is what I can have and this is what I can't.
Yep. Chicken and green beans, chicken and broccoli.
So now when you have those days where it doesn't feel like, okay, like I do want something, how long does that pattern last now?
Oh, that instant. I eat it, I'm satiated, and I'm done, and I can move on. Now, it is constantly, Tina is right here all the time. And
who's on the other shoulder?
Stupid bitch. Because
Yes.
stupid bitch is like saying, eat it. And Tina's like, eat it, but then let's move on. You can have more tomorrow. And I don't need that I can have more tomorrow anymore. I can have that bite or two and move on.
Yeah. So I think you should tell everybody who Stupid Bitch is. I think this is a good time to introduce her.
She's the old Kerri. She was the person, the devil within me.
Yeah. We don't have to call her the devil, but the voice inside your head.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
The voice inside your head that, once we started talking and digging into your mindset, we discovered that there was somebody inside of you, that voice inside of you, the story you were telling yourself was sabotaging you, standing in your way of moving past that cycle of binging, restricting, and binging and restricting without ever being able to find your freedom. So, how do you see this impacting your life going forward now that you have this set of skills that we, worked on in the 12-week transformation around adding in fruits and vegetables, making sure that you knew that you could have a treat. And I don't mean have, like, oh, you can have that, like, meaning like it's okay to have, like you said, it's not good or bad. And then also too, like looking at it from the, the perspective of, I might not have a perfect day. I might have a bad day.
Right.
What does that mean about tomorrow? So, how is this going to impact you going forward? What do you see this leading to, this food freedom that you're always going to work towards, right?
Right. So yesterday I was starving and I wanted a Wally burger. I just wanted a Wally burger. And I went and I had that Wally burger and it was delicious and I was done and it was good and I didn't feel guilty about it. And that's what I want.
So you didn't go make a box of brownies?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
So it's possible.
It is possible. So that food freedom is glorious. I can go out and eat with my family and I don't feel guilty and I don't feel restricted and I don't feel left out. And I just want that to continue. I have missed so many different social events because, well, there's going to be food there that I can't eat or that I shouldn't eat. All again, my choice to not eat those things. And now I feel like I can go and I can have a bite or two if that's what I want, or I can have a full meal and then, start fresh the next day or whatever. I don't feel like I am restricted and holding myself back like I used to, which led to the binges. And I mean, I wish people could understand, because I know sometimes people look at me and they're like, oh, whatever, and I'm like, oh, you have no idea what I can do behind closed doors, because it was ugly.
And I can relate that too, because part of my story, and I can definitely relate to the binging. And when I tell you that you have to practice it every day, you know exactly what I mean. It doesn't just go away, but just like that voice in your head that was so loud and screaming at you and causing all this food confusion, it gets smaller, right? And that was a big thing that you and I worked on, was that your mindset around all of those issues and those stories you were telling yourself. I want to know, we talked about the scale, and you mentioned you weighed yourself, which, we haven't, you and I haven't caught up for a little bit, because when summer started, we had just kind of wrapped up our meetings.
Yeah.
We did a pretty big scale detox.
Oh boy, yeah.
So how is that going? Is that something you're still practicing?
I felt like I fought you tooth and nail on that.
That's because you did.
Yeah, the scale was a daily thing. I was not one of those that got on every time I walked into the bathroom, but it was a daily thing, and it set my mindset for the day. If it was up, I was pissed off. If it was down, I was like, yay, I can go eat today. So that was one of the best things. I did weigh myself before vacation, and I wanted to weigh myself when we got home after a couple of days, because I truly did want to see how eating over in Europe was different, than here. I didn't restrict or anything. Yes, I did walk 10 miles 2 or 3 days, but I'm very active here at home too. So, and I have weighed myself every once in a while since I've been home, just to kind of have another check. But I have a pair of shorts that I like, and I try those on to make sure that they fit. So I don't even remember what your question was.
just I wanted to know like what your relationship was like with the scale right now.
Yeah. So it totally set my mind for the day. I mean, I would be ticked off for the entire day. And if it was up, then I'd be like, screw it, I'm going to eat what I want. And if it was down, I was like, oh, yay, reward yourself. Let's have a treat.
So now that the scale is not part of your daily routine anymore, what does that feel like?
That's a great feeling. Because there are so many more things to look at than what that scale says. I mean, we all know it can be, maybe you didn't take a dump that day. Maybe you ate something super salty. Maybe it's hot and humid out and you're just holding on to fluids.
Maybe it's because you're a female and
Yes.
things are happening that you can't explain, but it is.
Right. Or you had a heavy lift the day before. I mean, there's so many different things that go into that. And now I look at it and I'm like, whatever it is. And I just go on about life. That's been huge to get rid of that thing.
Yeah. Do you remember when we talked about, I asked you, I said, in 10 years from now, are you going to worry about what the scale said this morning? Or are you going to worry about how you feel? And
you know what happened with my scale app, right? Do you remember?
Yeah.
It died. I started working with Tina, and all of a sudden, and I had data for years, and I would consistently look back. Okay, what did I weigh on July 3rd before going to down to the lake for the 4th of July? Oh, I weighed this. Okay, I got to get back down to that. And that damn app died, lost every bit of my data.
It was kind of funny.
And
in one of our
karma.
meetings, she's like, it's gone, and I don't even know what I weighed 4 years ago. And that's when I was like,
good.
What do you, yeah, exactly. I was like, when in 10 years from now, and I actually want to ask anybody this, if you are so focused on the scale right now, what are you going to think about in 10 years? Are you going to think about what the scale said today? Or are you going to think about, I can climb 14ers.
Right.
I can spend time with my grandchildren. I can do any activity I want. I can go hiking. I can go run. I can go walk. I can cycle. If somebody asks me if I'm up for an adventure, I can go.
Right.
You're not going to think about what you weighed today.
No. You're absolutely correct. Yeah. It is important for me just to kind of keep it within check, because if I totally give up the scale and never ever step onto it, and even though I might be trying my clothes on, clothes these days seem to be very stretchy. So I do use it just to kind of as a check, but it's not an everyday by any means, and it doesn't make me mad or upset, and I don't go binge or celebrate, when the scale says whatever I think it should.
You mean it's just a number?
It's just a number.
Oh, okay.
Just like age. It's just a number.
It's just a number.
I'm 52 and I do not feel 52. I don't know what it's supposed to feel like, but I don't feel 52.
Well, do you feel good?
I do.
Do you feel great?
I do.
Well, you seem like you're doing really well, in good spirits, and I'm so glad you joined us today. Jeff, do you have any other questions for Kerri? I kind of have one to kind of wrap things up, unless you steal it from me, which is fine if you do.
No, I did have a couple questions. So sure. Like I said, I didn't know anything about Kerri's story going into today. So to get to sit here firsthand and listen to your story is awesome. And my favorite part is, one, the freedom of the scale. Anytime somebody can get that freedom from that scale, to me, is a game changer in life. Because now you can actually think about shit that's fun.
Right. Like, how much can I lift?
Yeah. Like, what can I actually do
right.
versus what that thing says for validation of my success. So when people can find other tools to validate their success, there is no better feeling for me to hear that come out of anybody. A question I wanted to ask you is, your journey, do you feel like you were a one of a kind as far as this goes, or do you think there's a lot of other people that share the exact same struggles that you do?
Oh, there are people that share the exact same struggles. We all have our demons, and whatever that may be, I think we all have a struggle that is hard to overcome. And so much of it is mindset. The way that you look at yourself or the way you look at others. You can't look at somebody else and say, I want to look like that. What do they do? And follow the same plan. It doesn't work that way. And I think, you have to write your own story. And so whatever that story may be, I've been to hell and back personally. And with working through those things and talking with somebody and finding what works for you is huge. So yeah, I think there are other people that maybe have my binge issue, and it's hard to admit. It is embarrassing and it is hard to admit.
Yeah, which I want to thank you, because, sometimes people feel like they are the only ones with this same, like they feel like I'm the only one who struggles with this.
Yeah.
Nobody else has this problem. And that is entirely not true. Like the fruit, already last week, Joe talked about he didn't eat fruit. And I seen a comment today on somebody that watched it said, oh yeah, I tried a diet too, where I didn't eat fruit. And it's just wild, how many people are doing a lot of the same things or trying a lot of these crazy things. Well, what we would call crazy, right. Not eating fruit or whatever, extreme diets to achieve what,
Right.
So.
And I always thought and I'm still this way. It's a struggle for me. I'm a more is better person. And I thought, I used to lift 6 days a week and do cardio 7 days a week. And, a trainer told me, you are overtraining. You are overtraining. You need to not be here this often. Well, I was eating so poorly that I was trying to out-train my poor diet. And that is not the case. Now I'm down to 3 or 4 lifts a week and getting my steps in every day. And I feel much better. I'm not stressed about getting to the gym 6 or 7 days a week, and I work it into my schedule. And I think people need to realize that too. It's more about the way that you eat than how much you work out. And I work out because I love it. I am addicted to working out. People who know me know that. But I'm not taking it to the extreme like I used to.
It feels good to move. And Jeff would agree. I agree. It feels good to move. Yeah. That's why we're doing what we're doing, encouraging people to move and encouraging people to eat healthy and nutritious food. Not because we're like police.
Right.
Like, eat this.
Right.
Don't eat that. It's more like, hey, find the thing that, like you just said, everybody's different. Find what works for you. When you eat this way, you feel this. When you move this way, you feel this. It's not eat this, this, and this, right, and you'll feel good. Right. Or move this way and you'll feel good. It's find the way that works for you.
Absolutely. I love lifting, but I used to be a runner. I ran every day. I could eat whatever I wanted, go out and run 3 to 5 miles, and it was all good. Well, then you know how your body changes, which I never believed when people said that. Yeah, wait till you hit 30. Yeah, and I'm like, whatever. Well, trust me, they are accurate.
I'm being facetious. We talked about this last week with Jeff turning 40 and having all of his ailments. Just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But just find that thing that you like. If you like aerobics classes or spinning or lifting weights or whatever, you have to enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, then it's a chore. And who likes to do chores?
Yeah, no, I agree. To me, I will argue with any single person that tries to tell me that they don't want to move. Yeah. Everybody wants to move, and when you strip that away from somebody, there's nothing they want more than to be able to go do the thing, whatever the thing is. Like you said, everybody's got their own favorite.
Yeah, right.
But everybody wants that. Nobody can convince me otherwise. And like I said, that's why we're out here doing this.
Yeah. And people who might not be moving right now, I think there'd be 2 reasons. And it's probably the same one. And I think we've coined the phrase, but it's fear and anxiety, which we've named gymxiety. Mm-hmm. And that is, the simplest explanation for that would be people who are afraid to do something new because they're afraid of what could happen if they don't, it's just this fear, this overwhelming fear. Like, I'm not even going to try because I'm scared.
Right. And don't let your fear hold you back. You've got to push yourself. That's why I go do 14ers, every year. It's scary. It's hard. It's, something that we don't have mountains around here.
Yeah. And then it's thrilling and exhilarating. Yeah. And then all at the same time.
Exactly. And, so you constantly have to push yourself and strive to be the best you can be. I have a family member who's in very poor health, and I refuse to be like that. I do not want to live my life like that. So keep moving.
Yep, keep moving. Kerri, just one last thing before we wrap up. What would you tell someone who was struggling with the same issues as you, or just struggling in general with their health and fitness, about the transformation program?
Call Tina. Call Tina. Yeah. Or Jeff. You and I have a relationship because I had your kids in class, mm-hmm. And I knew that you were into fitness as well. And you said that you had some issues, and that helped me tremendously. But you have got to reach out and get help. I tried on my own and was very unsuccessful. And, we spent around 24 weeks together. And I feel like I can finally live life, and I'm happier. I hope my family sees that I'm happier. I'm eating foods that bring me joy and help make my body strong. And so call Pulse.
Just one quick thing that's unique to Kerri's story is she doesn't even work out at the gym. She has her own thing that she does workout wise. So like that expectation that you have to work out with us or do it our way is not the case. We're just here to help you along the journey with whatever way you need the help.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I told them do my
she told me
nutrition.
right away. She said, I'm very happy with my workouts, even though Pulse is a great place to work out. That wasn't a deal breaker for us. This was something that we still dove in on. Feel very good about the results, and just sitting here with you today. And you and I haven't really talked since May, besides just over texting. So just hearing where you're at today, versus even a few months ago, I'm thrilled, and deeply thank you for coming on and sharing your story. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for doing this. And I know that you're going to help somebody listening who's struggling with the same thing that you are, because we really are all in this together.
Yeah. And it was hard to come forward and admit, that I have a binge eating issue. Some people say, oh, whatever, that's not true, that you just lose control every once in a while, but it is what you feel it is. And I was out of control, and I'm not, 100% perfect with my eating. I have to continue to concentrate and work on it. And like I said, Tina's right here, and stupid bitch is here, and I'm slapping her and holding on to her.
Yep. Your final reminder: consistency over perfection for the win every day.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, thanks, Kerri. Appreciate you coming out and sharing with us.
You're welcome.